Hello customers, I'm Tuna and I'm here to show you how to create a spacecraft helmet or an astronaut helmet. And the materials you'll need are the Kesem at Home Kit box. If you do no longer have this, a cereal box or any sort of cardboard box will work as long as it fits over your head, preferably a smaller size, but if you only have a larger one, you can create as big of a helmet as you want. Something to trace a straight edge against. So I have a tape measure, but if you have a ruler or a flat side of another box or a piece of paper, that will work as well. Some sort of writing utensil, so if you have a Sharpie or a marker, that shows up on the box the best, but if you have a pencil, that should work as well. Whatever you prefer. This will be what you trace to cut out your hole for your face. A pair of scissors, so if you need supervision while using scissors, please do so from a guardian figure. And then just for decoration on the side, you can use the construction paper from your kit. You'll just be able to trace out the parts of the helmet that you want, and you can glue it on using your good old-fashioned glue stick. Okay, so step one is probably the most important step and is most of the helmet. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be tracing a hole for your face to look through, what you want is your writing utensil and a straight edge, and you'll just start off by making an estimate for how big you want your actual face hole to be. So I'm gonna do probably most of the way of the helmet, so I'm just gonna start off the top, go straight across, and if it's not super straight, that's okay. I'll be covering it up later with construction paper anyways, but you can start off, and if you ever want to go more out, I prefer starting towards the middle. That way, if you want your hole to be bigger, you can go out. But I'm going to start off and just kind of make a rectangular shape. You can also clean it up without the straight ruler as well. And just making a rectangular shape around the edge of the front edge of the box that you want to be the front part of your helmet. So as you can see, mine not super straight, but good enough to start with, and I'll show you in a sec what it looks like to cut out. And for this next part, if you are a younger camper, I would suggest getting some caregiver guidance on using the scissors, because we will have to puncture the box to be able to cut without having to cut along our border and having to later glue our helmet. So if you need guidance, please do so. What we're going to start along with is taking our scissors, separating them slightly, and then using one of the tongs to just kind of twist a hole into the face of the box along your Sharpie or your marker line. And this will just provide us a starting point for cutting. And then after you have the tip slightly inside the line of the box, you're just going to start cutting like so along your line. And it might take a little bit of force because the cardboard is a little bit thick, but just be careful. Never cut towards your body. Always cut away, either sideways or away from you, out, and just going slow using your hand. And if you find that you can't do this and you might need somebody else, that's perfectly fine. Speed is not the name of the game. You just want to keep going along. But I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of my face out. If you need more time, by all means take it. Safety is always the #1 priority. But just going along, using a little bit of force, and I'll show you in a sec what this looks like. Okay, so now that I'm done with cutting, you can see that I have a nice rectangular opening for my face to look through. And next, after you put it on, you should notice that it either fits your face pretty well or it's blocking a little bit. So if you have to, we can cut out a little speaker comms area right here in this flap so that you can be able to speak. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that because I have probably a little bit larger head than you do. So I'm going to be able to need to communicate. So I'll be right back after I make my little speaker system right here. Alright, so now that I can actually fit into my space helmet, what's next is we're going to start decorating. So what we're going to be doing is going to be taking our construction paper and tracing the edges of the box in a way that we can then cut out the construction paper to fit onto the side of the box. You should have enough construction paper to have a very colorful helmet, any style you want, but I'm going to start with some of the faceplate, and then we'll just glue it on with our glue stick. So I'm going to show you in a sec what one side done looks like, so that you can get started on customizing your own space helmet. Alright, so I have cut out the design for my faceplate. I decided to go with black. If you have black, great. So what I did to be able to cut out was I took the color that I want to cut out, so in my case black. I put it down on the paper on the table, like so. And what you do is you put your box with the face cut out on the table over the paper, and then you just take your Sharpie and you frame the edge of your face opening, and then using a pencil or something to poke a hole into the paper, you then cut out the design on your paper. And then I'm gonna go ahead and glue my black face design on the outer edge of my paper, and then I'll start working on the other sides of my box. But just start generously putting glue onto the back side of your covering, and so you want enough that it will stick and not come off when you're trying to put it on and off, because it will be bending a little bit, so you want it to be able to have enough grip on the cardboard that it upholds through that. But you'll want to put enough that you pretty much cover most of the surface area. If you start to run out, just squeeze a little bit more. Don't be afraid to use glue, because this ultimately will be the front of your helmet, so you want it to look nice and designed. But if you want to go with no design and you want to just skip this step and go right ahead and just wearing your cardboard helmet, no one's going to stop you. It's your helmet. It's your journey to take. But I'm going to go ahead and apply a little bit more glue, and I'm going to get this onto my box right away. So without getting your fingers on the glue, go ahead and take your design, and I'll show you a little bit, and I'll just go ahead and try to frame it up as nicely as possible, putting it over the bottom first and then up to the top. And you will probably have a little bit of cardboard area left over at the very bottom, but we can cover that up with more construction paper later. But you're going to want to go ahead and let this sit for a while. As you can see, I still have a little bit at the bottom to cover up, but I will do that with another piece of paper after this one dries, because I want to get this one on there as quick as possible. Okay, and then after you have glued on construction paper, you can actually take the time to design it if you want. So for instance, on my side, I just put some symbols that I thought looked pretty technological and spacey, and then you can also customize it. So I have it on my nameplate on the bottom, and then you can just put designs on the top, probably more than mine, but I'm gonna keep mine pretty simple. And then with actually extra cardboard, I actually crafted a little communications device. So if you have tape, you can finish off doing that with the little excess, or you can do something different. You all are so creative, but yeah. So then you just wear it on your head, and you're good to go for space exploration.